I've been playing basketball since I was like 4 years old, ever since I can remember. It was pick up a ball and play, baseball, basketball, football, pretty much anything I could find.
When he was younger and shorter, I would play basketball with him one-on-one. I would do the high percentage shots. You just dribble down the court, right under the basket, off the backboard, into the basket. Garrett liked the real hot dog kind of, razzle-dazzle shots, and you can imagine they didn't have as high a percentage going in. And so at one point in his life, I could beat him in basketball, just saying.
While at a young age he loved to play sports, he also was a Boy Scout.
Scouting happened pretty early. I'm a former Scout, an Eagle Scout, and that was something that I knew I'd love for him to be a part of too. So we started out in Cub Scouting and Webelos together, so an early journey for a really young guy.
It kind of taught me a lot of different things, like how to build a fire, like little small skills like that. But then also like with the juggling a lot of different things on my plate, I think it played a big role in that, learning how to like make a budget, how to plan for future things, all that stuff. I think it was really important for me. One of my first years playing AAU, after the season they kind of gave out awards for guys on the team, and they gave me the Timex award. They were really kind of amazed at how I juggled so many things, because at that point I was playing football, baseball, I was in Boy Scouts, that kind of thing. I was in the music program at my school, had church choir, all that stuff, and so I just had a lot going on. I think that was like my first, like, someone acknowledging me for like being able to juggle a lot of things, and I enjoyed that.
It was really interesting. He was playing baseball and basketball, and I remember distinctly Carlton picking him up from a baseball practice early so that he could go to a basketball practice, and it was just insane.
Basketball was his favorite, and he made the choice to just really focus on that. It had been a dream of his, even as a little boy, to play in college one day.
I felt like for me to be really good at something, I had to put all of my attention to that. I could have been like good at two things, but never great at one of them. And so I wanted to say like, all right, if I'm gonna be good at something, I wanna be great at it. And so I put a lot of my focus just into basketball at that point.
He excelled on the court. During his freshman and sophomore seasons, he bounced around between the junior varsity and varsity squads, but by the time his junior year rolled around, he was a full-time varsity starter.
I mean, there've definitely been times where like a lot of my friends might be going out and I'm like, I got practice the next day, or we got a game, or we're traveling or something, and it's like, at that point, I want to be a part of the basketball more than I want to be a part of that. Taking a step back from some of the social aspects at certain times has been a sacrifice that I've had to make.
Garrett had the grades to play at the Division I level, but as an undersized center, not the height.
He had very little interest in high school. We had some meetings with a couple of smaller schools. Since no offers came at the end of his senior year, we started exploring this idea of post-grad basketball.
I've always had a good jump shot. I think in high school it kind of went a little underappreciated because I played the post so much. But then when I got to Fishburne, it was kind of like that was what I did. I became like a shooter. I was out there to shoot threes, and I think that was probably the first real full season that I really made that my staple.
In his 1 year of prep ball at Fishburne Military Academy, he set the single game record for threes in a game with 11. He also tied the single game scoring record with 38 points. He finished shooting 58% beyond the arc, proving that he could be a shooting guard at the next level.
Oh, it was great. I loved it. In high school, I felt like just sitting on the block shooting layups all day. It was kind of like this is the lava. I mean, I don't like hanging out in here, but when I got to Fishburne, it definitely let me expand my game a little bit and like really show people what I could do.
It was also a great opportunity for him to take a year away from us. He was 5 hours away in a military setting, and so he worked on his basketball, took some college courses, and it was really beautiful. The Garrett that left was an 18-year-old high school guy, and the Garrett that came back was a young man ready to go into college and make his future what he wanted it to be.
Fishburne Military Academy's season ended, and Garrett was still without a Division I offer. However, a single phone call from UNCG's third-year head coach Wes Miller gave him hope.
It was actually really late in the game. It was June, and Coach Miller was like, hey, we'd love for you to come on a visit. I was like, all right, let's do it. Came up here, tried out for him, or worked out for him a little bit. And then at that point he was like, all right, so at this point we don't necessarily have a scholarship for you, but we'd love to see you come here and earn a scholarship or earn playing time, that kind of thing. And so at that point I kind of took it as a personal challenge, like, all right, I'm gonna come in here as a walk-on, maybe a little bit lower rung than some other guys, and try to work my way into a playing position. When
Garrett arrived, he knew, because he was a non-scholarship player, that he was gonna have to work hard and earn his playing time.
Garrett was ready for the challenge of earning his way onto the court because, after all, he's done it his whole life.
I mean, I think it's kind of been like that for me my whole life. Starting on JV, trying to figure out how to get onto varsity, that kind of thing, freshman, sophomore year. And then at Fishburne, trying to work my way into the rotation, trying to play a lot, trying to get a lot of shots, score for the team. I think that all of it in the end is gonna make me a little more resilient, let me have a little more grit to myself, having battled through like wanting to play and not being able to, or thinking I could and not being able to. But then I think now at this point, it makes me really appreciate the time that I'm out on the court a little more.
He loves time on the court, but he also spent years doing scout team. And he took that role incredibly seriously because he knew that the harder and better he worked on the scout team, the better prepared the starters would be when it came game time.
While he was busy working on the court to earn playing time, he had to work off the court as well to help pay his way through college.
During the summer and early in the spring, I had a couple jobs at one point. I was working for Cutco selling knives. And then I also worked at a restaurant around here too, being a waiter at the Mad Hatter. It was very interesting, back to juggling a lot of things at once. I would have a day where I would stand up for like 6 hours in a row, and then I would have to come to practice or something like that, and it's just like, at that point I'm dead. Like I can't move around, I don't want to run. Like it's not a lot of fun, but I think that just adds to like more resilience and more fight to me, I think.
After playing basketball for nearly 20 years, Garrett Collins is living out a dream he's had ever since he began.
I've been impressed with his work ethic. He's a real grinder in many ways. And he's been someone who is had to be in an underdog role. He's not somebody that's always been on the top of the heap. He's always had to work hard to get where he's going.
I love the fact that he's a smart, caring, compassionate, wonderful son. I cannot imagine having a person as part of my family, part of my life that I would be any prouder of. I love that he's an athlete, I love that he's worked hard, and I love his sense of patience with that long-term goal of wanting to get playing time in his college career. So I'm just proud of Garrett.
Oh, I'm definitely proud of myself. I think when you set out with a goal in mind and then you achieve it, I think that's really good. That's really a big deal. And I think it just kind of helps me appreciate the fact that I set out to do something, I did it, and now I know that when I set goals that I have the ability to achieve them. And I think that's important for me down the road.
Collins, number 15.